We are expanding the debate, the only vice presidential debate that's taking place this election season. We are joined by Luis Rodriguez, the vice presidential nominee for the Justice Party, and Cheri Honkala, the vice presidential nominee for the Green Party. In Kentucky, Mitt Romney's vice presidential nominee is there, Paul Ryan, as well as Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic vice presidential nominee. Martha Raddatz is the debate moderator in Kentucky.
You do the math and have this increase in defense spending.
$2 trillion. You don't cut defense by $1 trillion. That's what we're talking about.
And what national security issues justify an increase?
We're going to cut 80,000 soldiers, 20,000 Marines, 120 cargo planes. We're going to push the Joint Strike Fighter out. We're cutting missile defense.
And one more.
If these cuts go through, our Navy will be the smallest it has been since before World War I. This invites weakness. Look, do we believe in peace through strength? You bet we do. And that means you don't impose these devastating cuts on our military. So we're saying don't cut the military by $1 trillion. Not increase it by $1 trillion. Don't cut it by $1 trillion.
Quickly, Vice President Biden, on this.
Look,
I want to move on.
We don't cut it. And I might add, this so-called, I know we don't want to use the fancy word sequester, this automatic cut, that was part of a debt deal that they asked for. And let me tell you what my friend said at a press conference announcing his support of the deal. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, we've been looking for this moment for a long time.
I'd like to move on to Afghanistan, please. Now, we've reached the recruiting goal for Afghan forces. We've degraded al-Qaeda. So tell me, why not leave now? What more can we really accomplish? Is it worth more American lives?
We don't want to lose the gains we've gotten. We want to make sure that the Taliban does not come back in and give al-Qaeda a safe haven. We agree with the administration on their 2014 transition. Look, when I think about Afghanistan, I think about the incredible job that our troops have done. You've been there more than the two of us combined. First time I was there in 2002, it was amazing to me what they were facing. When I went to the Arghandab Valley in Kandahar before the surge, I sat down with the young private in the 82nd from the Menominee Indian Reservation who would tell me what he did every day, and I was in awe. And to see what they had in front of them, and then to go back there in December, to go throughout Helmand with the Marines to see what they had accomplished, it's nothing short of amazing. What we don't want to do is lose the gains we've gotten. Now, we've disagreed from time to time on a few issues. We would have more likely taken into account the recommendations from our commanders, General Petraeus, Admiral Mullen, on troop levels throughout this year's fighting season. We've been skeptical about negotiations with the Taliban, especially while they're shooting at us. But we want to see the 2014 transition be successful, and that means we want to make sure our commanders have what they need to make sure that it is successful so that this does not once again become a launching pad for terrorists.
Vice President Biden.
Let's keep our eye on the ball. The reason I've been in and out of Afghanistan and Iraq 20 times. I've been up in the Konar Valley. I've been throughout that whole country, mostly in a helicopter and sometimes in a vehicle. The fact is, we went there for one reason, to get those people who killed Americans, al-Qaeda. We've decimated al-Qaeda Central. We have eliminated Osama bin Laden. That was our purpose. And in fact, in the meantime, what we said we would do, we would help train the Afghan military. It's their responsibility to take over their own security. That's why with 49 of our allies in Afghanistan, we've agreed on a gradual drawdown, so we're out of there by the year 2014. My friend and the governor say it's based on conditions, which means it depends. It does not depend for us. It is the responsibility of the Afghans to take care of their own security. We have trained over 315,000, mostly without incident. There have been more than 24 cases of green on blue where Americans have been killed. If we do not, if the measures the military has taken do not take hold, we will not go on joint patrols. We will not train in the field. We'll only train in the Army bases that exist there. But we are leaving. We are leaving in 2014, period. And in the process, we're going to be saving over the next 10 years another $800 billion. We've been in this war for over a decade. The primary objective is almost completed. Now all we're doing is putting the Kabul government in a position to be able to maintain their own security. It's their responsibility, not America's.
Justice Party Vice Presidential nominee Luis Rodriguez, respond on the issue of defense spending as well as Afghanistan.
We have, unfortunately, an empire. The U.S. is behind this empire. We have the largest military force in the world. We have caused more damage, more destruction, more terrorism to happen than any other force in this world. I know this is hard to imagine anybody saying this, but I don't need an intelligence mechanism to know that we have been behind so much wars, so much destruction. It's time for the American people to not have our soldiers, our mothers and brothers and sisters out in the wars anymore, in places that we don't belong, in places that don't resolve anything. In spite of the war against terror, I don't feel any safer. Nobody feels any safer. I think this is about time that this empire were to end. It's hurting our economy. It's hurting our politics. We cannot survive as people in this world if we continually go around the world thinking that our issues, our demands, and what we're about is more important than anybody else in the world. I'm for making sure that this world is peaceful, which means you cannot have a military means of getting peace. You cannot have unmanned drones bombing civilians no matter where it is in this world. So I do feel that we have to back up completely from the defense budget, which is the single largest means that money is being taken away out of our economy. Putting it back in military, put it back in defense industries that are making millions of dollars off our taxes and our sweat and blood.
Cheri Honkala, Green Party Vice Presidential nominee, on the issue of defense and war spending in this country and Afghanistan.
We need to bring our troops home. We need to stop being the police force for the world. We need to stay out of other people's business in their fight for democracy. And we need to take that money and we need to bring it back home. We need to bring our soldiers back home, turn them into organic farmers, have them be busy rebuilding America. The answer is not with war. The answer is creating a better America for all of us to live in.
We're going to go right now to closing statements. Martha Raddatz in Kentucky.
Okay, we now turn to the candidates for their closing statements. Thank you, gentlemen. And that coin toss again has Vice President Biden starting with the closing statement.
Well, let me say at the outset that I want to thank you, Martha, for doing this, and Senator College. The fact is that we're in a situation where we inherited a god-awful circumstance. People are in real trouble. We acted to move to bring relief to the people in need the most help now. And in the process, we, in case you haven't noticed, we have strong disagreements, but you probably detected my frustration with their attitude about the American people. My friend says that 30% of the American people are takers. Romney points out 47% of the people won't take responsibility. He's talking about my mother and father. He's talking about the places I grew up in, my neighbors in Scranton and Claymont. He's talking about the people that built this country. All they're looking for, Martha, all they're looking for is an even shot. Whenever you give them a shot, they've done it. They've done it. Whenever you've leveled the playing field, they've been able to move. And they want a little bit of peace of mind. And the president and I are not going to rest until that playing field is leveled. They, in fact, have a clear shot, and they have peace of mind. Until they can turn to their kid and say with a degree of confidence, honey, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. That's what this is all about.
Congressman Ryan.
I want to thank you as well, Martha, Danville, Kentucky, Senator College, and I want to thank you, Joe. It's been an honor to engage in this critical debate. We face a very big choice. What kind of country are we going to be? What kind of country are we going to give our kids? President Obama, he had his chance. He made his choices. His economic agenda, more spending, more borrowing, higher taxes, a government takeover of health care. It's not working. It's failed to create the jobs we need. 23 million Americans are struggling for work today. 15% of Americans are in poverty. This is not what a real recovery looks like. You deserve better. Mitt Romney and I want to earn your support. We're offering real reforms for a real recovery for every American. Mitt Romney, his experience, his ideas, his solutions, is uniquely qualified to get this job done. At a time when we have a jobs crisis in America, wouldn't it be nice to have a job creator in the White House? The choice is clear. A stagnant economy that promotes more government dependency, or a dynamic, growing economy that promotes opportunity and jobs. Mitt Romney and I will not duck the tough issues. And we will not blame others for the next 4 years. We will take responsibility. And we will not try to replace our founding principles. We will reapply our founding principles. The choice is clear, and the choice rests with you. And we ask you for your vote. Thank you.
Cheri Honkala, you have 1 minute for your final statement.
As a formerly homeless mother, I know your pains out there. We can have a country that can be free from unemployment, hunger, and homelessness. Let's occupy the voting booths on Election Day. Let's vote green and put 2 women in the White House so that we can take back America and have another country and another world.
And Luis Rodriguez, Vice Presidential nominee for the Justice Party. Your final statement.
Yeah, I think this is not about recovery, but a regeneration, of bringing back the ideas, the imaginations, the power that we hold in our hands into the political process, into the economy. This country is vast. It's got a lot of latent talent and attributes in our kids, in our working class, in people who build their homes and see their homes being taken away. This is a period of the worst corporate thievery that we've seen in our history, and nobody's putting them accountable. Let's take it back and put it in our hands, in the hands of the people who work, in the hands of the people who can imagine and regenerate our economy completely by making sure that everybody's needs are met, everybody's housing is taken care of, everybody's medical needs, educational needs. No more corporation of the education where kids are having $60,000 to $70,000 debt just to go to school because they have to now, because they can't survive without it. We have to reimagine another America, another world, a clean environmental justice in our environment, justice in our economy, justice in our politics.
Luis Rodriguez, Vice Presidential nominee for the Justice Party. Cheri Honkala, Vice Presidential nominee for the Green Party. Joining Paul Ryan of the Republican Party and Vice President Joe Biden of the Democratic Party in this only vice presidential debate of the 2012 election. And that does it for our Expanding the Debate series until next week, when we'll be broadcasting from Hofstra.